you guys. How are you all? Thank you guys for being here. Hey, Melissa.
Hello.
I know you just ended your live and I've spoken to you today, but just like I haven't even spoken to you at all. How are you today?
I'm doing good. I'm just mind blown at the Lori Vallow stuff so far. It's been interesting.
I know it has been interesting. Okay, so starting with, we were talking, Melissa and I, about talking about this today with you guys just briefly because I wanted to cover it, but I don't know how in depth I want to go. We've had the conversation on this channel for a long time regarding her case, but like starting with the interview that they just had, which we both watched over the weekend, the interview that she did with Arizona right before the trial started, Fox 10, I think it is, that she did it with. What did you think about that, Melissa?
That was absolutely mind boggling to hear her basically say, like, this is what frustrated me is the way she spoke was as if this was a choice of hers. This is not a punishment. This was a choice, and she was set here, and this was a mission. And if she was asked to do this, hey, you're going to help these women and you're going to encourage these women, would you give up the rest of your life to do this? Yes. Versus you are there for taking not only the lives of your children, but now on trial for taking the life of your husband, and that is so frustrating to me because I don't like that.
I know. It's like, I think, is this like her way of dealing? Like, it's just like, and like you said here in the opening statements, which I'm going to drop Jen's link if you guys, she's streaming the trial, but, in the opening statements, she says, a family tragedy isn't a crime. She also says this during the interview, like, it's a family tragedy. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to think. I think that she's just trying to find a way to like be okay with being there and save face about being there in ways with that. But I also think that she's mentally ill.
Yeah. Oh, she is. She is.
Yeah. So do you think, now again, like I said, Jen's streaming it and I haven't watched everything, but I've watched most and I'm going to go back and catch what I didn't. But like, I'm surprised because I find myself like kind of disagreeing with a lot of the people that I'm seeing. And I've been more quiet, but
Did you cut out for everyone or just me?
happy moments. But how do you think she's doing? You think she's doing a better than you expected? A terrible job? Is she like, what do you think?
I think that she is asking a bunch of irrelevant questions. I think
Oh yeah.
and I'm very curious because I know she has advisory council, but I keep paying attention to where when she sits back down, is that advisory council helping her? Because I struggle that advisory council would have told her, yeah, this opening statement was good, or these questions were relevant. Because what I'm taking from it is when prosecution is asking questions of of their witnesses, there's a reason that they're asking these certain questions. With Lori, I'm seeing her ask a bunch of questions, which in her mind, she thinks she's getting somewhere, but there really isn't any thinking ahead when asking them. It's really just leading nowhere, and it's in no way going to prove what she's trying to prove.
Yeah, at all. I don't know why I cut out, you guys. I don't know, because like usually I can see that if there's a glitch or I'm cutting out, and that's the second time recently that's happened where I couldn't see. So I don't know, but you're 100% right. She's asking a ton of questions, and I don't even think that she's planning. Like, I think like you said, it seems like she's just kind of going where the conversation is taking her, like,
Yeah.
even when it's pointless, but still I think it's like she's more well-spoken and composed than I expected. And some of her questions aren't that bad too. You know what I mean? Some of them okay, or questions I would expect rather. Some of them are like, why are we even asking this?
Well, yeah, some of them are like, well, would you say if didn't have any hands, would it be difficult to perform CPR? Like, yeah, yes, I would say. She didn't have hands like some of them, but yeah, her composure, she has been very composed, and I think she's been very respectful.
Yeah.
But, and I know we've spoken about this, I am waiting to see an emotional witness. And when I say an emotional witness, emotional for both the witness and Lori, because when she has a history with someone, a personal connection, and she made it clear in that interview, she's
Yep.
not looking to convince the jury of anything. She's there to confront the people who have lied on her and basically testified against her, really, for her trial regarding her children. And so I'm so eager to see how composed and respectful she will be and the questions she will be asking when those witnesses hit the stand.
Yeah, that's what I'm also most most I'm looking forward to that the most. I can't
Yeah,
even
me too.
speak. But yeah, I don't know. It's good because, like you said in that interview, she makes it really clear. She can't wait to talk to the people who have lied on her, as she says, and kind of, I want to see where she goes with that. Let me be clear as well. When I say that she's mentally ill, and this is more like to the chat or to anybody watching, that does not excuse anything. And I don't think that means she shouldn't be punished. I think anybody who's committing, taking the lives of their own children, or really most people who take the lives of any human, there's some mental illness there. I think that it's interesting to try to figure out the why or where things went wrong, but I don't think that it makes it okay or excuses it or anything like that. I just want to be clear about that. But yeah, I do look forward to seeing some of the more emotional witnesses. I don't think she has a leg to stand on, but I also don't think she has any other options. And the judge, he's very professional and polite with her. And I saw today in Jen's, people were saying he's so nice, how does he do it? Well, he has to be. She's being she's not experienced, so there are times where you'll see him helping her a little bit, but I think they all want her to have a fair trial, so
Of course.
there's justice.
Well, and for the appeal process, they do give a little bit of slack with pro se. And you have to realize, giving her a little bit of extra room because she's representing herself will help down the line if they do have a conviction and she goes through the appeal process, that, their T's are crossed and their I's are dotted.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Now I did see, so I have not, I guess I've seen some of this, not all of this. I was catching up in the articles too. 2 jurors have been let go. So the one that I saw and I did was the man who, was talking about how his employer didn't want him to be there, that whole situation. But there was another person, a woman, who was dismissed, and it says the reason why was never discussed. So that's kind of interesting. And then there was another juror who at one point, there was an issue with their phone. Oh yeah, I found this on Twitter, and I didn't hear this. I don't know if this is when they cut off at the end of the day, but they had pointed out that someone had pointed out a juror wasn't paying attention, and the judge asked him, basically, were you paying attention? This is the way I understand it from the tweets. Again, if it was played somewhere and I missed it, maybe you guys can clear it up. But he's like, I was getting a text from my daughter. No, I didn't see. The judge is like, turn your phone off. So I think there's been little issues here and there with the jury. But, they're
They
human.
had their
So
phone on?
yeah, they were texting their daughter.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's a big no-no.
Yeah. So, and then he was looking at his phone and someone told on him.
Man.
Dog Defender says she's gone for me. Does she mean me? You can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So yeah, and then I think if there's anything else that comes to mind, I do have a couple articles and a video pulled up, but I don't want to get too far into that without touching base for while we're here, the main reason. And let me let me explain something to those of you guys who haven't watched any of these yet. So Melissa and I have been going over the case against Casey Anthony, the trial, and we talked about this before her recent social media appearance, but or reemergence or whatever you call that. We talked about going over the trial, but then she comes out on social media and we're like, okay, so we really want to do it now. And we want to go through every part of this from A to Z. And that's kind of what we're doing. We're several episodes in now. So if you haven't watched them and you're interested, there's a playlist on this channel and Melissa's channel and that we're going back and forth from channel to channel. Please go check out the playlist. And if you haven't heard of her channel, which I'm sure most of you guys have, but if you haven't, please go check out Melissa's channel too. She just got done doing some Wade Wilson emails. She's covered so many different things, lots of Letitia stuff as well. And I think that you'll be talking about Lori too, right?
Yeah, I'm not going to be doing like coverage of her versus just little, discuss as we go. I know that Bundy's doing a great job covering the trial itself, and then you're going to do coverage on it. So I'm just fine talking about it. It's super interesting for anybody who has watched this all unfold. I remember watching Nate Eaton and like the Idaho news channels like trying to explain this, and they pulled out a whiteboard like literally to try to connect and explain to viewers back when this was all originally happening, and Lori and Chad were in Hawaii and Nate was going like, who is who, and I've never seen that before because there were so many moving pieces and so many players and there were so many names. It's like, wait a second, what is going on? So to see how far we've come and to see her be held accountable, especially for Charles, JJ's grandparents. Yes. Oh my God. Yes. How'd you have that ready to go?
It's still on my overlays. It's never left. I don't have it anymore, so I've had to leave it there.
Allie, how did you have that ready to freaking go? It's been 5 years.
I know.
Oh my God.
Well, it was a giant poster board, remember? And I like used a ruler and everything to try to get like as straight of lines as I could. And I don't have it anymore. So I keep it on the overlays because if I delete it, I might lose it. So
how funny is that? You have to just take a screenshot like of your live right now, and then you'll have the photo too in your album.
Yeah, I need to do that. And then you guys screenshot it if you want, and you've never, if you're newer to the case, because there are so many people, it's hard to make sense of everything. Also, you cut out for me for a second. I think I'm cutting out. And so I didn't hear for sure that you were talking about this. I heard the end of it, and I thought
this is literally what I was talking about.
Yeah, I heard you say like to try to make sense of all the people. So I was like, oh,
yes. The damn whiteboard. That's so funny.
Yeah. Because there are so many, and it includes family and friends and, ex-family, and just, it's complicated. So this way we could talk about it and make sense of it all. But
that's so funny. I can't believe you just had that ready to go.
Yeah. And then I have the little, like, what do you call that describes what each thing is here at the bottom? The M is members of the cult or group at end times. This is before we knew that much about what they were doing,
Yep.
We didn't really know all that much when this was created. It was like still in the beginning, long before the first trial and all of that, of course. And so I did my best, but okay. But yeah. So anyways, let me pull up where we're taking off with Casey tonight. So can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry. I'm starting
to you're fine.
Wonder. But we are taking, let's see, the witnesses that we have tonight are the roommates of her ex-boyfriend, I believe. Let me just get it here. Yeah, ex-roommates of Casey's former boyfriend take the stand. So we're going to go through about half of it to this little red line and save the other half for Melissa's channel. Still probably take us a while to get through, even probably an hour to get through almost a half an hour of testimony, usually as we talk along the way. So, yeah. And I'm excited to see what they have to say. Like,
I'm really excited because we're getting into the territory of what she was doing for those 31 days. And, it's going to give a different insight than family with when she was around her boyfriend and what the friends observed and how her demeanor was. It's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, for sure. And then the last thing before I forget, as we're moving on from Lori Vallow, of course, Jen's streaming it. Go watch over on the ward case studies, and I'll drop that link again. But Nate Eaton has been following it since the very beginning. Yes. He does a great job. So you can find him on YouTube and Twitter or anywhere. And he's even like each witness, he's very detailed. He's live tweeting from the courtroom and then doing shows after and, through the weekend and stuff, describing what's going on. So, okay. Before I exit out of that. All right. Are you ready? Oh, we don't have closed captioning again.
Damn it. Well, luckily it's a shorter one.
Yeah. So, okay, you guys, are you ready, Melissa?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go.
Campana, Cameron, Campana, Campana.
Yeah, inquire, sir. Thank you. Morning.
Morning.
If you would, again, please introduce yourself to the jury and state your name.
Cameron Campana.
Mr. Campana, how old are you?
23 years old.
Do you currently live in the state of Florida?
No, I live in Cleveland, Ohio.
I'm sorry?
Cleveland, Ohio.
At some point, did you live in Florida?
Yes, I attended college in Orlando.
When did you attend college here in Orlando?
August 2007 to February 2009 at Full Sail University.
Can you tell the jury what Full Sail University is?
It's a media arts school. I attended for recording production of music and music business.
Is that a 2-year school or a 4-year school?
It's an accelerated pace. It's 1-year programs for your associates and then a 10-month program for your bachelor's.
Mr. Campana, can I ask you to maybe speak up just a little bit?
Okay.
Thank you. How many years did you attend Full Sail?
2007 to 2009, about almost 3 years.
Did you graduate from Full Sail?
Yes, I graduated.
And what type of degree do you get from Full Sail?
Bachelor's of Science in Music Business.
What are you currently doing for a living?
I'm a club promoter for an entertainment company in Cleveland.
Is that in line with the education that you received?
Yes.
Not a club promoter. I'm sorry. But with everything, sorry to stop so soon, you guys, but with everything we have heard about her 31 days, you guys have heard a lot more than I have, but I've known for years, like the pictures of her dancing on the table, the tattoo, like all the things. And then I'm a club promoter. It makes sense.
Yep.
But yeah, he is well-spoken and pretty loud. So I feel like I'm glad we can hear him. And his name is Cameron Campana. I think the spelling's correct because he spelled it, or I typed it after he had spelled it, but that's on the banner on the screen, Medusa. Look at her. She's not pleased. She's not looking happy in this moment.
No.
Back when you attended Full Sail, starting in August of 2007, where did you live?
Sutton Place Apartments.
You know the address there?
3834. I forget which apartment number.
When you lived there, with whom did you live?
What was that?
Who did you live with?
Anthony Lazaro.
Let's talk a little bit about the apartment. How big was the apartment?
It was a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment. I want to say it was about maybe 1,000 square feet altogether.
And when you first moved in, you lived with Tony Lazaro?
Yes.
At some point, did you have other roommates?
Yes. Roy House stayed with us briefly, and then Nathan Lesnovich.
Let's talk about Mr. House first. When did Mr. House first start living in your apartment?
I believe it was November of 2007.
And how long did he stay?
Till about June 2008.
You said this was a 2-bedroom?
Oh, and I'm noticing, which, let me say, at least club promoter, at least he went to college and stuff like that. He's well-spoken, not have anything bad to say about the kid yet. And I'm sure he's not happy to be in this situation. And I can't imagine being his parents.
Yeah.
Yeah. But and also, Melissa, now we're on to the man, the prosecutor. We haven't seen him like yet. So I'm interested in how he does.
I know. And they're so young. He looks like a baby.
I know. That's what I was thinking. Like, you know, I have a son not far from this age, and I was just thinking, like, I can't imagine, like, his family and how they must feel that he's connected to connected to this at all. Just sucks. But okay.
Room apartment?
Yes.
While Mr. House was staying with you, where did he sleep?
On the couch in the living room.
Was this a couch that pulled out into a bed?
No.
He just slept on the couch?
Yeah.
You also mentioned a Nathan Lesnowitz.
Yes.
When did he live with you at the Sutton Place apartment?
It was towards the end of May. I believe around May 25th or 26th, he moved in.
And how long did he stay?
Until our lease was up in August 2008.
So at one point, you had 4 men living in this apartment.
Yes.
What were the sleeping arrangements during this time? Where did everybody sleep?
Nate took the couch, and then Roy took the floor until he found his own apartment.
So Tess says he's supposedly a really nice guy. He's the one who smoked weed all the time. The video I sent was about him with Blair White. Yeah, because I think I talked to you about this, Melissa, like the video, like I smoked weed with Casey Anthony or whatever, and it was Blair White's boyfriend.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. She looks so mad. Like, why are you mad at him? It's not his fault that you're there.
Right. Well, maybe because he's going to say something. Yeah, it's not his fault. But maybe he's going to say something she's concerned about, right?
Yeah. I bet we're going to hear some things, and her mommy and daddy are going to hear some things that she probably doesn't want people to hear for sure.
Apartment.
Was he looking for an apartment during this time?
Yes.
Wow, Tess. Thank you for sharing that. It's interesting. He still says she's innocent to this day.
Wow.
Directing your attention to May and June and July of 2008, can you tell the jury what your school schedule was?
We were on a rapid schedule. I was pretty much going to school either 9 to 5 or 1 to 9.
Hey, Angie.
It changed every month.
It changed every month?
Yes.
Do you have any specific recollection of what your hours were at school during the month of May of 2008?
I want to say 9 to 5. I know June was 1 to 9.
Okay. So
Approach.
Oh, already?
Yeah,
may I continue?
Just a second.
Thank you.
that's the good part about
You
watching
may
the
proceed.
recordings.
Mr. Campana, going back to June of 2008, you believe your school schedule was 1 to 9.
Yes.
Did your classes or your
That's
education
awesome.
also entail you working in any way?
Oh, no.
So after you went to classes from 1 to 9, you were done.
Yes.
Do you recall Mr. Lesnowitz's school schedule during June of 2008?
I believe it was 9 to 5. I'm not 100% sure, though.
Did you take classes with him during this time?
We were on different schedules in different months because I had taken time off and had to retake classes.
How about Mr. Lazaro?
We started at the same time, and he never had to retake classes or anything, so he got ahead of me. But we were on different schedules this same months, usually.
Sir, directing your attention to the end of May, beginning of June of 2008, did you have the occasion to meet Casey Anthony?
Yes.
Can you tell the jury the circumstances by which you came to meet her?
Excuse
How
me.
you met her?
I met her through my roommate, Anthony Lazaro, after a birthday party for our friend Daniel Howard.
Do you remember when that party was?
I believe it was May 24th or around that date. That's when his birthday was.
And Mr. Howard is a friend of yours? What is or was a friend of yours?
Yes, he was a mutual friend with all of us.
When you first met Ms. Anthony, can you tell the jury how she appeared, what her demeanor was?
She was, just a regular 22-year-old girl, happy. Just seemed like, normal and just your average 22-year-old.
Nothing out of the ordinary.
Yeah. No.
Subsequent to that birthday party, did you have the occasion to see Casey Anthony again?
After, yes.
Can you tell the jury the period after that birthday party? Strike that. Let's go to this question. At some point, did Ms. Anthony start staying with you on a regular basis?
Yes.
Do you recall when that was?
I want to say the middle of June.
Oh,
Of 2008.
yeah.
Or towards the end of June. Yeah.
Okay.
It was June 2008, I know.
Prior to that period of time when the defendant was more or less staying with you, how many times do you believe you may have seen Ms. Anthony on a social basis?
On social basis? Yeah. Inside the apartment or outside?
Let's do both.
I would see her daily once she started staying with us inside the apartment. Outside of the apartment, maybe 2 or 3 times.
The 2 or 3 times that you saw the defendant, were you aware that she had a daughter?
Yes.
Do you know the daughter's name?
Kaylee.
How many times have you met Kaylee?
About 4 times, maybe 3.
okay. Just a pause for a second. Is this is the same house where she was there and then wasn't the next
Wasn't
day?
there. As far as I'm understanding, yes.
Okay. And it's just like soaking in that what Tess said, that he still believes she was innocent. So he believed that at this time, I'm assuming. So wonder what is his value with the prosecution.
I think just being there at the boyfriend's house and seeing how she was and the time period. You have to remember a lot of those photos that we have during that time period were from clubs. The clubs took the photos, you know what I mean? So I'm curious because I don't remember if he was a part of that or not.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense too. Like just to show, hey, she was here when her daughter maybe was or wasn't there. I don't know. And then, like you said, just for like date purposes or whatever, just to say that she was here. But I'm curious, are they going to ask about that moment?
Well, yeah, her demeanor, hey, during these 31 days that her child were missing, she spent most of it. She wasn't home, right? Her family can't testify to what her demeanor was during that time, but they can.
Oh, it cut out for me at the end of what you were saying there.
The family can't testify what Casey's demeanor was during the 31 days while her child was missing, right? So
Yeah.
like we have the defense especially putting on, hey, she didn't know, like there was an accident, there was a drowning, this is what happened. Okay, well, during that period of time, even with your narrative, what was her demeanor like? Was she acting concerned? Was she acting in a way where she was grieving the loss of her child? Because that's the
Right.
narrative you're putting on, is that, hey, she knew her child was gone. What was she doing?
See, I'm glad I asked you because it wasn't making like I was thinking too deep into it because it doesn't really matter if he thinks she's innocent or not when you're
Right.
talking about that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
When you saw Kaylee, Anthony, where would you see her?
Either in Anthony Lazzaro's room with Casey or in the living room watching TV.
Oh.
During this time period that you saw Kaylee, Anthony, at your apartment with the defendant, did they, meaning during this time period that you saw Kaylee, Anthony, at your apartment with the defendant, did they, meaning Ms. Anthony and Kaylee, ever spend the night?
Not together.
Not together.
I'm sorry, what do you mean not together? Did they or did they not spend the night?
Casey did. Not Kaylee never spent the night at the apartment.
All right, so Kaylee never spent the night over at your apartment?
No.
Where was she?
Yeah.
When you first met Ms. Anthony, did you ever have any discussions with her about her employment?
She had mentioned to us that she had worked for Universal as an event coordinator.
Was that your understanding that was her job, or she used to work there?
That's what I understood that was her job.
Oh,
Did she talk about her job?
you lied to them too?
Every now and then, just brief little things. I don't know specifics, but she had mentioned like picking up tickets for a Batman premiere for The Dark Knight, and just like other little things, saying work is stressing me out and such
Work.
like that.
The work was stressing her out?
Yeah.
You mentioned something about a Batman premiere.
Yes.
What did Ms. Anthony say about that?
She had told my roommate Anthony.
Gidget, thank you for joining.
Look how pretty she is.
Beautiful.
I know.
I love when, like on this setting where you can actually see their photos.
I know.
And that's a good picture.
It's a very good picture. But, work was stressing her out, Allie.
I know.
She didn't work, guys. Like, oh my goodness.
Hey, Chief.
Hey, Chief.
So where would, if it just though makes me think like then she would have to put on the act of going to work with them too.
Yeah. Work was stressing me out, guys. But I want to know where Kaylee was, because think about when we watched the Cindy interview, and Cindy said, there was the night, what was it? Tony said, we went to bed, and when I woke up, Kaylee wasn't there. And he asked where Kaylee was. And my mom called in the middle of the night and wanted me to bring her back, but she never did. So where was Kaylee?
I do not know what is going on with my service, but it is not working good. It keeps cutting out for me, but I know. I'm with you though. I want to know. I caught most of what you were saying, and I want to know about that too, because what actually happened, and what could have came up in the middle of the freaking night if she started out being there? That just leads your mind down all kinds of like bad paths.
I think Kaylee just woke up. I think that it was a matter of she didn't want to parent.
Right. And it's just easier to take her home and then come back and go back to sleep or with her boyfriend or whatever else,
But if she didn't take her home, Allie, where was she?
Right. Because I don't know. That's like when you'd have to go into like the theories of leaving her in the car or something.
Thank you, Gidget. Gidget gifted 5 memberships.
Oh, Gidget, thank you.
She says counteracting the gnar of Miss Anthony.
Thank you, Gidget, so much.
Thank you.
Do you think she had her sleep in the car? How awful. I mean, I don't know. It just makes you wonder what, like, anything else, any place that your mind goes isn't good.
I did.
What do you think?
That's exactly what I think. I think she had her sleeping in the car, out of sight, out of mind. Think about how many times, when you have kids, they wake up. The likelihood that they're going to sleep through the night, is small, especially if you take them out of their established norm, and hey, we're over here for the night. I'm sure she woke her up, and, she's 22 years old, maybe annoying her. And that I think that dosing her with, variety of things, knocking her out and out of sight, out of mind, because she didn't want to deal with it.
Yeah. Very selfish, but you know what? It would line up with exactly what we know of her so far. Just very selfish person. God, I just can't imagine. Liz, this came from, we heard this in the interview with Casey's mom. No, was it with Casey's mom and Casey, right? Or was it with her?
Just with Casey's mom when she was being interviewed, and they had the calendar out, and they were trying to figure out what last day Kaylee was seen, and they asked her. Now, Anthony said, because the mom was like, we were on vacation, or we were at my mom's or something, and they were like, this is the night that Tony said Kaylee and Casey went to sleep at the house, and when he went to bed, Kaylee was there, and when he woke up, Kaylee wasn't there anymore. And he asked Casey, where's Kaylee? And she said, my mom called in the middle of the night and wanted Kaylee to come back home. So I went and dropped her off. And
Yeah.
Cindy was like, no, like that didn't happen. There was never at all a middle of the night call where I'm like, hey, bring Kaylee back. And she brought her back in the middle of the night. So
Yeah.
where was Kaylee?
And if you look on our playlist, was this the first night that we did this or the second night?
That was the second night, I believe.
It's a short interview with her mom, with the detective. That's what I was thinking it was, but then I questioned myself for a moment and I was like, wait, was it in their phone call? But yeah, it's not too, like, we watched that and something else that night, I think. Right?
Yeah, we started with the first interview, and then Cindy and like the audio before the calls.
Yeah. So yeah, go check out the playlist and you'll see Cindy talking about it with the officer. But
how is your Cameron so big on the bottom of the screen? Like, how is it so big?
I don't know. I think
No, she cut out. I'll never know. There you are.
I don't know what is going on. I'm gonna throw something, but I don't know. But it's it's the kind of banner that doesn't move, so it's different. See?
Oh, okay. I don't know, because I've never seen a massive thing like that before. I'm like, how do I get that, baby?
Yeah, but it's still in the banner section. You just have to make it not the one, like not the ticker.
Right.
And then,
okay.
And I think it also does have to do with the setting, like
Yeah.
whether you have it on because certain settings don't make their picture that big on the screen and
yeah,
like that. But okay, I'm gonna press play while I'm here, so hopefully we don't cut out anymore and I'll get my shit together before we come back.
Okay, but you have a 1-year milestone from Natasha.
Oh, let me see here.
Oh,
thank you. I wasn't even gonna click into my chat. I was like,
I know,
no.
that's why I mentioned it, so you wouldn't have to pause.
Yeah, no, thank you. Natasha, thank you for being a member for a year. And yeah, thank you for your sweet message. Says, don't forget to hit the like. Show Allie and MJ some love.
Thanks,
Thank you, Natasha. Okay, here we go.
Are that she was going to get red carpet tickets for the premiere, and it never happened.
Statement of the defendant, Your Honor. It goes to her state of mind.
Overruled.
Referring to a statement by
So you're talking about what the defendant told you or Mr. Lazaro?
About the Batman ticket?
Yes.
I've heard that.
No. You heard that from
From who, Cameron? I can't
Ms.
tell.
Anthony
Okay, there we go.
started staying with you on a regular basis. You had mentioned a few minutes ago that at one point, Ms. Anthony started staying with you on a regular basis. Is that correct?
Yes.
And again, when then
sustain as to the last question.
did Ms. Anthony begin staying with you in your apartment?
Yes.
When was that?
Some point towards the end of June, mid-June to end June.
Was this something that you had talked to Mr. Lazaro about, that she was going to be moving in?
No.
Was this something that you had spoken to the defendant about?
No.
Overruled.
When she started staying at your apartment, was there any understanding that you're aware of about how long?
Told us that she was looking for an apartment with, I believe it was Amy.
Had you ever met?
I believe once.
But when she first started staying there, did you know who Amy was?
No.
Now, you went to school this time from the periods of 1 to 9 in June, correct?
Mhm. Yes.
During the time that you were with the defendant, did you ever see her getting ready to go to work?
No.
Mhm. Never.
Nah. Yeah.
Mhm.
When you, well, tell us about when you never, I'm sorry, when she started living with you, did you ever see Kaylee again?
I believe once, and I can't be 100% positive about that.
Did she ever tell you during the subsequent weeks where Kaylee was?
We have asked, and one time she said that she was going to Universal with the nanny. Then another time was the nanny was taking her to Cocoa Beach for a friend's son's birthday party.
Did
Right.
the defendant ever appear
Just random ass lies.
Mm-hmm.
anxious about seeing her daughter?
Sometimes she would say that she talked to Kaylee on the phone and that she was excited. Other than that, I don't think so.
During the time frames that she was
They're
living
anxious.
with you,
Yeah. Anxious,
roommates.
sir.
did you ever hear her on the phone purportedly talking to her daughter?
No.
Did you ever hear her talking purportedly to the nanny?
No.
Did she talk on the phone while she lived with you?
She would, but she would always step outside and have a conversation.
Could you see her walking around outside?
I would see her walk around the little pond in the back.
There's a pond in the back of the
Yeah.
apartment.
Behind the apartment. If you were standing on our balcony, you could see it from there.
And then would she come back to the apartment?
Yes.
When she came back to the apartment, would she relate to you with whom she was speaking?
One time,
What did
she
she
said
say?
she was speaking to her mother, and that I asked her why she always goes outside, and she said that was because it's her time to vent.
It was what?
It was her time to vent.
Or time to vent.
Or tell you what those arguments or what those discussions were about?
No.
With her mom?
Right.
That's
I'm
kind
blue
of
and abba-dee,
I
abba-da.
know. I don't know why I did that. Hold on.
It's all fucked up tonight, but that's all right.
Oh my gosh.
Why so blue, Casey?
Oh,
There we
there
go.
we go.
There we go.
Dude, forgive me.
You're fine. I don't listen.
Rusty?
It's that cleavage of the valley type internet. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Holler.
But dude, no, it was like the Starlink was working for like 2 months without a problem. And then now it's just like ding, 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 ding. I'm having all these issues.
Whenever
And
you say
then-
Starlink, I think of like Terminator, like type internet. I've never heard of it before.
Well, it's the Elon Musk, like, you know, that's funny you say you think of Terminator because he has those robots.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah. But no, it's usually pretty good. It's just sucking right now. But also, after not being on, like, tell me if you're like this, like when you're gone for your weekends and you come back, are you kind of rusty it like that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I sounded like I was probably on crack yesterday. I was bouncing all around with my ADHD, like, you know, I don't know why.
Yeah.
I just get nervous.
It's anxiety, and it's like, I don't know, all of it together is like, just
Yep,
wanna
and now
scream.
Starlink is screwing you up.
Yes. Thanks a lot, Starlink. You could
Yeah,
mess
thanks,
up
Starlink. Come on.
tomorrow.
Step up your shit, Elon.
Okay, here we go. This dude is kind of confusing. Part of me is like, I don't think he's like, I know he's young, but it seems like he doesn't understand the meanings of some of these words that he's
A little
using.
bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. Bless his Justin Bieber heart. Yeah.
Yeah.
While Ms. Anthony was living with you, how were you guys who was doing the cooking?
I mean, everyone would do their part, but once she started staying on a regular basis, she started cooking dinner and buying groceries.
Would she ever ask you if anybody needed anything at the store?
Yes.
And would she return with those items?
Yes.
With the check she sold
Did
from
she ever
Amy.
do laundry?
Wow.
Yes.
And
Whose
play
laundry
in
did she
house.
do?
Mhm.
Mostly hers.
B Crumbs, thank you for gifting. Okay, so thank you so much, B Crumbs. So he asked, did he ever do laundry? Or did she ever do laundry, Casey? And he says, yeah, like, and whose? Mainly hers. He's going on to explain who else's laundry she's doing.
Mhm.
And Jose objects for relevance. So
Yeah.
I'm really curious. I hope this goes through. But if not, so you're doing other people's laundry and housework and, cooking and doing grocery shopping for these random guys,
Yeah.
own family, and your daughter, you're not like,
It's missing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And shouldn't you be putting that effort into the home where your daughter was living? Shouldn't you, instead of your mom doing a lot of that stuff, which I'm sure she was doing?
Everything.
Yeah.
Well, and it's with the money from the checks she sold from Amy. Amy, the one that she's looking to get an apartment with, right? That wasn't her money. She didn't have money. She was stealing gas tanks from Papa, and she was stealing checks from Amy. 2 feet. Hey, you guys want anything from the store? It's not even your money.
Oh my God. Oh, wow. Okay.
Relevancy?
Your Honor, it's relevant to her state of mind and her conduct during this time period. May we approach?
Shut up, Jose.
Overrule at this point.
Thank you, sir. You can
Oh.
continue.
It was mostly her laundry, sometimes Anthony's, Lazzaro's, and I believe one time she even didn't mind.
What?
Did you
I
ask her
knew
to?
it.
No.
You had to jump back with
What
the
about
way
cleaning
you
the
said it.
apartment? Cleaning the apartment.
And
She-
even one time she did mine.
Relevancy?
Your Honor, it's relevant to her state of
He was
mind
a little
and her
embarrassed.
conduct during this time period. May we approach?
Oh, Jose, you
Overrule
just
at
have
this
this
point.
smirk
Thanks,
on
sir.
your face like you just.
You can continue.
Yeah.
It was mostly her laundry, sometimes Anthony's, Lazzaro's, and I believe one time she even didn't mind.
She even asked in mine. But like, let it sink in. Also, like, these guys have an apartment. It's a big deal. All of a sudden, like, a guy's girlfriend starts moving in. Like, are you paying rent? Are you, like, the utilities go up? But like, she's over here washing his boxers and stuff, man.
Yeah. And the way that it's like I swear I probably could have heard him gulp afterwards. Like it's
Mhm.
probably.
And even if I can recall, one time she did mine. Whose socks did she watch? Admit it, Cameron. Admit it. They were yours. Yeah.
The tone is, you nailed it. That's exactly the vibe I'm thinking of. And he's given, but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Justin, I don't like his smirk either. And he's doing his job, whatever, but
Yeah, he's cocky.
yeah.
Tasha.
Did you ask her to?
No.
What about cleaning the apartment? Who cleaned the apartment?
She helped clean. We all helped keep it.
Jose, you said just stanky ass down.
Clean, but she would help clean more often.
Oh.
As part of your studies at Full Sail, did you have a computer?
Yes.
What type of computer did you have?
Apple MacBook Pro.
Nice.
Was that given to you by the school?
Yeah, it was a package deal that we could get with classes.
To your knowledge, did your roommates also have computers?
Yes, we all had Apple MacBook Pros.
Wow.
Nice.
Did you ever see the defendant with a computer?
Yes.
What type of computer did she have?
I'm not sure the brand, but it was a PC laptop.
An HP.
While she was living with you, did you see her
She
using
didn't
that?
get no MacBook,
Yes.
Allie.
Did you ever use
She is mad about it too. She's like, damn
Yeah. She got a fucking Chromebook.
like, I don't like Apple products anyway.
Yeah, I don't like Apple products anyway. But did you ever once see her get up and get ready for work? Nope. And so they all got their package deal with their MacBooks, and I'm imagining like Elle Wood with those old school, like really pretty Apple MacBooks. She pulls out her Chromebook, just trying to fit in. Yeah, her Acer.
Dude, but for real, I went to several colleges, like a community college at one point, but I went to a really nice college I lived at one point, and they didn't have no package deal.
Shit,
No.
man.
But let me see. One of you guys, Callie says you have to have the MacBook Pro for the music production. My son went to college for that.
I wish, but
Yeah.
It's just funny because everyone had it, and then there's Casey trying desperately to fit in, and no, she didn't have one. She had a Chrome.
Don't rag on my Chromebook.
She had an Acer Chrome.
Hey, nowadays it's different though too. Like, nowadays it's just different. Apple was ahead of the game, years and years ago, even more so.
It was a very big deal. Okay, you guys know what those original Apple MacBook Pros looked like, man. They had like the color and everything. Like,
yeah,
nice.
They even had like the see-through ones. I only saw them on like TV shows. I didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't never
like
see
I said, Legally Blonde. Like I never had that shit. They're nice.
Here we go.
Is her laptop?
No.
To your knowledge, did she ever ask to borrow your computer?
No.
To your knowledge, did she ever ask to borrow anybody else's?
No.
They were elite, Gidget says.
So during this time period that the defendant was living with you, can you describe to the jury what her general demeanor was?
She just seemed just the same. Nothing had changed. She was happy. She seemed, excited about life. Just.
Did you ever socialize with the defendant outside of the apartment?
I believe that one or two times.
Where would that have been?
Excuse me?
Where would that have been?
Once at one of my friend's apartments that her and Tony stopped by at, and I can't be positive about the second time.
Have you ever heard of the Fusion Ultra Lounge?
Yes.
What is that?
Yes.
It was a restaurant / club lounge that served food and had nightlife at night.
I'm sorry?
They would have nightlife events at night.
To your knowledge, have you ever spent any time with the defendant at that particular club?
No.
Overruled.
What did he say?
I don't know, but Casey, stop laughing. You don't get to laugh. Go back. What was that?
Yes.
What is that?
It was a restaurant / club lounge that served food and had nightlife at night.
I'm sorry?
They would have nightlife events at night.
To your knowledge, have you ever spent any time with the defendant at that particular club?
No.
Not make it out. Objection, judge.
Overruled, I think, because he already answered.
Oh, okay.
But Casey, you don't get to laugh. Like, you're not. It's like an inside joke that you're laughing. You don't even get. Shut up. Sorry, but she pisses me off so much.
No, I agree. I'm right there with you. And I don't know. The energy though is interesting between her and him. And I'm not feeding into the room like to people saying that they were hooking up and stuff. I don't know. I just find her in it, like the way that even the face she made, like when he said that, because it almost, if you just saw their body language, would have looked like he made like a dirty joke or something. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just interesting there.
And it seems like he's being careful and making sure to shine her in a good light with his answers.
Yeah, probably so, especially if now we know that he still thinks she's innocent, as Tess said. Michelle, why is everyone laughing though? Because I think what he did was go, objection, wait, overruled. Like,
Yeah.
never mind, because he knew his objection, that kind of thing.
Baez is the attorney. He doesn't get to say overruled. The judge says overruled. But Cameron had answered so quickly that at that point, he didn't have a chance to make the objection. So it's just overruled because he answered anyway.
Yeah. Good night, MK. Thank you for being here. Thank all you guys for being here. For real. Thanks for putting up with my mess. Melissa's great, but thanks for putting up with me.
Tasha, right? You're wearing a bump it in a 2-foot chair, bitch. Sit down. Lower, please. Even lower. Just take that little handle and just go down farther, please.
Just a little bit. Over the table.
Just her little eyes. Just make her eyes eye level to the table. That'd be perfect. Just see the bump it. That's it.
Yeah, just the bump it.
Like every day as trial goes on, she's getting it in shorter and shorter.
I'm mentally picturing it, which just made it so funny. But okay, here we go. Oh my God. Look at her.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, you're so cool. Hello, Cool J over there.
During this time period, did you drink alcohol?
Yes.
Oh, I love you back, Michelle.
While you were at the apartment, did the defendant ever drink with you?
No.
How about outside of the apartment?
I've seen her. I never saw her, but she would come home sometimes and would be drunk. I think it was just like one time I saw her come back.
Okay. Have you ever been to the have you ever met George or Cindy Anthony?
No.
Had you ever been over to George or Cindy Anthony's home?
No.
While she was living with you, did you ever see any article of clothing that belonged to Kaylee?
Only stuff that she would bring over if she brought her over in the morning, like a swimsuit, because we had a pool.
And that's when you actually saw Kaylee, correct?
Yes.
All right. How about after she started living with you, did you ever see any article of clothing belonging to Kaylee?
Not that I saw.
Any toys?
Maybe a book. I think there was a book, a Pink Panther video too.
This was while she was living with you?
I believe so.
All right. Any stuffed animals?
No.
Now, you know, I just want to say that he would have had a deposition with Jose. And I don't know, like, how much they spoke or whatever, or who else he spoke to that may have spoke to her. But it just makes me think, remember, she's all about these boys, like with her talking to her brother in that video visit, all about these boys that couldn't even give any helpful information. Talk to them, though, because they've been really nice and supportive of me since I've been in here. So I'm curious, like, how much communication she or Jose or any friends may have with him that overlaps. I don't know. I'm curious about that. But then it makes me think about that first video visit we watched of that guy that comes in.
Casey? Yeah. You know, do you remember me? I'm Mark. I don't remember his name, you know, like,
yes.
Oh yeah. Hey. It was so awkward. And it was like 37 seconds long. Like, so he went through all that work, went through the approval, checking in, like,
yeah,
just for that little shit, man.
Just want you to know that if you need someone to talk to, I'm here. Well, okay, thanks.
But then we heard how she portrayed it to her parents. Like, hey, you guys remember Mark? You didn't remember Mark. Like, even he came and visited me, and her parents are like, who came and visited you already before us? Yeah, before you. Yeah, I can't see you.
You didn't remember Mark.
He didn't remember him at all.
No, not at all. Okay. Sorry, I just thought that was so funny, and I couldn't help but think of it when you're thinking about
Yeah.
like this kind of stuff.
During the time period that she was living with you, did she ever tell you that her daughter was missing?
No.
Did she ever tell you that her daughter had been kidnapped?
No.
Did she ever tell you that while you were out in classes, she was out looking for her daughter?
No.
Did she at any time ever ask you for any help in trying to find her daughter?
No.
Are you aware of an incident, without going into any detail, are you aware of an incident on July 15th when the defendant's mother came to your apartment?
I had class till 9. I got home and Anthony and Nathan had told me what had happened.
Okay. Were
So you're aware.
Somebody else told you.
right.
Well, I came home and,
You were not home when any of that may have happened.
excuse me,
You were not at home when any of that
No.
may have happened.
I wasn't home.
Did you have the occasion to meet Lee Anthony later on that night?
Yes.
And when had you ever met him before?
No.
And when he came over, did you say anything to him?
I just told him I was sorry to hear about what happened. And if there's anything that we can do, we'll help.
What can you tell the jury about Lee's demeanor when you saw him that night?
He seemed calm, but at the same time, he was worried.
Did you give him any items that belonged to the defendant that night?
He came and picked up a bag of clothes that Casey had in Anthony's room.
Did you actually witness him take those items or that bag out of the apartment?
Yes.
Did you have any other contact with the defendant after that night?
No.
Did you have any other contact with Lee Anthony after that night?
No.
I have 1 second, Judge.
The anxiety he
Thank you
must
very much, sir. I
have.
have no further questions. Thank you, Judge.
Cross-examination?
So we are 22 out of 52, but since we're going to cross, is this where, don't you think we should pause here instead of like getting into it any? And I don't
No,
know.
'cause I don't think it's long. Right? Because he used less than half the video before
Well,
they
maybe
pull up
it's-
the next one.
You're right. Maybe this is this mark here is like the next guy.
Yes, it is. It is.
Okay. Okay. So it'll only be like a minute or two anyway.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Campina, is it?
Campana.
Campana. Were you in Casey's home on June 16, 2008 when Kaylee drowned?
No.
Oh,
No further
see,
questions.
you can't do that. See, you see,
Oh,
he asserted it as fact through the question. You see how sneaky he is? Were you in Casey's home on this day when Kaylee drowned, asserting it as a fact? And that's not, come on.
oh my God. Wow, wow. I saw Melanie. I responded to her, Melissa. Yeah, he just works really early, and that's why I think he's not going to go to bed so early. But oh my God, I cannot believe he did that, Melissa.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Were you at Casey's home on June 16th, the day that Kaylee drowned?
Right. Right. Yet again, and it's every day, all day when the jury is hearing that, it does get into your subconscious. And it's amazing how your brain can pick up on certain things. So repetition is the best form of brain control, and just the way he questions it, that you're not supposed to do that, okay? Because the evidence did not prove, okay? And you cannot prove that happened. No, they did, but he answered so quickly. So as a witness, you are supposed to wait a second to see if there will be an objection. But it doesn't always work out that way. You just answer. And so he had answered already.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. I want to play it one more time. And don't be sorry, Melissa. And I know that, Michelle. No, that's okay. I was just answering you guys, but trying to not forget my point at the same time, like about him forget what I was going to comment on after that, which was I can't believe the way he asked that question. And Samantha, thank you for joining. You want to listen to it again real quick? Okay.
Yes.
Oh my God. What a,
It's a
wow.
tactic.
Mr. George.
Yeah.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Campina, is it?
Campana.
Campana. Were you in Casey's home on June 16, 2008 when Kaylee drowned?
No.
See, they
further
did an
questions.
objection.
Look at him.
Folks, was your microphone on, Mr. George? I cannot hear you, sir. So it's not on the record. You can cut your microphones off, but as I told y'all in the back, I cannot hear you.
I'm sorry. sir.
And the court reporter cannot hear you.
The question was assuming facts, not in evidence. We'd ask that the
Yes.
question be struck.
Overruled.
Oh, I love him. I don't like that answer, but I love him because, if I can't hear you make the objection, too late.
Oh my God.
He
They
rolled his
made
eyes.
the objection, but their mic was off.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
he told him, hey, if I can't hear it, then, oh my God,
Yep.
wow. Which, I mean, surely the jury, well, I don't know. Look how this went.
Yeah, look how it went. Overruled.
Damn.
I like him a lot.
I like him too. He's sassy. He's got lots of
Mhm.
attitude. But my God, you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, Samantha, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. You guys have been so sweet tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, Samantha.
Oh my God Almighty, Melissa.
I
Well,
know. What are your
overruled.
thoughts? Overruled.
I think, well, with this particular witness, I feel like, it wasn't anything major against Casey. And I'm be curious if they still had a friendship or what communication, or if he truly did feel she was innocent about that stuff. I think that Jose is slimy and dirty, and you don't have to do that kind of stuff if the facts are on your side, but they weren't on his side. So I don't know, Melissa. I'm kind of like, wow. I just can't believe the way that ended. What do you think?
Well, did they do any redirect or no?
I don't know. Let's see. And yes, Judge, you're right, Michelle. That's his name.
Belvin Perry.
Yeah, you want to see if they did? Because we have a little bit longer before that red mark, so they might have.
Yep.
Okay.
May the witness stand down.
Oh no.
Thank you, sir. State may call their next witness.
Is he gonna look at her? Oh man,
Name is Nathan Lesnovich.
you slow down, Nathan. We're not ready for you yet. You're tomorrow. Slow your
Yeah.
roll, Nathan.
That right there, Nathan.
It's right there, Nathan. Oh my goodness. Okay, let me ask you, and maybe I'm wrong, but is it weird that he knew so much detail about her? Because even as a couple of guys living together, college age, for her to be dating the roommates, he knew like a lot of information that I wouldn't necessarily, like, even down to, hey, why do you go outside to talk with your mom? I didn't think she would be that close to the roommates. Washing his underwear.
Yeah, I mean, that is weird to me. Like, if I think back to when I was younger, first of all, if I'm staying over at a boyfriend's apartment, I'm not washing his clothes unless we're serious, like been together for a couple years or something. Like, I'm just not doing that. I feel like that's already like pick me behavior.
Yeah.
And then, especially not his friends, unless you're very comfortable with the friends. I don't know. That's a good point. I think that's weird right there. And I don't trust him. Like, also, the other part of me thinks, dude, he's just a kid. And
Yes.
like, to be in the center of all of this, and at least he went to college. I mean, he's not like drop out of school and out there slinging crack. So, hey, there's a lot of kids.
That escalated so quickly, Allie.
Well, I'm just saying, like, he's probably a pretty decent kid.
How did you make that jump?
Because when I was young like that, like I was hanging out with all kinds of party kids that were doing all
Yeah.
kinds of wild shit, you know.
I
And so,
know, but he just does not, like he just the Justin Bieber haircut and stuff. He seems like a very together, like respectful. He
yeah.
ain't out there slinging crack.
Look, Tara wrote, "LOL." Thank goodness for that, Allie.
Oh my god.
And I said that. I
That's so
mean,
funny.
I'm just saying, like, my point is that I do kind of feel bad for him that he's even had to be there and he's at the center of this, like, nationwide case that has gotten so much attention. Like, I don't know, this is probably one of the biggest cases of our lifetime.
Well, and
Right?
I am interested if he's spoken out years after this or currently and says he still thinks she's innocent. That's surprising to me because I would expect with age you to realize like the situation for what it is, Like what are you basing that off of? Just the little bit that you've seen of her? You've said you've only seen her with Kaylee 3 or 4 times max. What are you basing that off of?
Yeah. No, Nee, I was not slinging crack, but I will say, like, I was hanging out with some not great kids that definitely weren't going to college and stuff. So at times in my life. So I don't know.
I think what's concerning is like see, Tess said, he said she was a good mom. People have this amazing ability, and I guess maybe if you're not, what that tells me is he's never experienced it probably in his life, which is a good thing. But people have this amazing ability, especially of women who are capable of putting on a great show. When they want to be perceived a certain way, they have this amazing ability. And then what the reality is behind closed doors, you would never expect it. You would never know. And so I'm very well aware that people are capable of that. And so the couple interactions you've had, even a month living with, that doesn't surprise me at all. But you do not know what she was like on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. No,
Why do
you're
you
right.
think she went outside to talk to her mom?
Yeah, because they didn't want her seeing inside the house or the apartment, right?
She didn't want them to hear what she was speaking about. Probably,
Oh, I think Casey.
he's here, I'm doing this, I've been at work. God only knows.
Right. Here, let's look here because this is a 2022 article. Roommate of Casey Anthony's boyfriend tells all about her strange behavior in 31 days. Casey was relaxed and offered an abundance of excuses for where her daughter was during the 31 days, according to a roommate of her then boyfriend. Well, he didn't say that in the trial. Let's see. Was he in the Peacock series?
Cute shit. Oh my god. Oh, I think he was, Allie.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Oh, he did an interview with The Sun. This where I'm reading from right now. So one of those roommates, Cameron, told the U.S. Sun that Casey seemed completely normal and relaxed throughout the month Kaylee was missing. Cameron said, "I saw Casey almost every day throughout those 31 days because she was practically living with us at the time. We never saw Kaylee, but Casey was there. But I would just assume Kaylee was with her nanny or one of the grandparents. Casey seemed normal, same old Casey. It was actually during those 31 days that I got to know her much better because she was around all the time. I didn't notice anything out of the normal at all. In fact, she was more relaxed than she had been with us because we knew her better, and it felt like that was a part of the group. And it felt like I think that's supposed to be, was a part of the group in the apartment."
Wow. Nice.
He says,
little shit.
"At one point, I remember my roommate and I asked Casey, we haven't seen our little friend Kaylee around in a while, and she had an excuse right off the bat. She'd be like, oh yeah, her and the nanny are going to Universal this week. Then they're going to Epcot one day and the Magic Kingdom another day." And it was believable. It wasn't like she had to think about it or whatever. He said being a 20-something mom at the time who supposedly had a nanny, that wasn't unbelievable during the summer. There's nothing that would be like, is there something weird going on here?
Okay.
Let's see. He said she was very nice and sociable. Casey was just cracking jokes and playing with Kaylee when the first time he met her. And Kaylee, she was pretty much the same every time I saw her. She was just a fun-loving child who just loved having fun and was really smart for her age. She was 2 and knew how to count to 10 in Spanish. Said it was a very good first impression. I'm so congested. I'm sorry. I'm wheezing over here. I would have never imagined that in my wildest dreams. Let's see if he says anything else. They seemed like they were best friends, and Casey seemed very protective of her.
Sure.
Never once saw her raise her voice.
My dude, you only saw her 3 or 4 times.
The water without her water wings. Casey ran over, picked her up, and told her, "Remember what I told you. Don't get too close to the water without your wings on."
I don't like it, Allie.
What do you think?
He's a naive young guy who, and I don't want to make the assumption that he most likely lived a blessed life and he doesn't really understand how easy someone can lie. The excuse right off the bat, right? I didn't think anything of it. Maybe that's because, and it's not his fault, but like that would honestly, like that would be a major red flag. Wait, what do you mean? Your kid is with this nanny going on a full-on vacation every day to where you're able to be here every single day, all day without your child. And the fact that you're saying she seemed relaxed. She didn't seem like the concern in the world. Exactly. Don't you see the issue with that?
Well, here's what he says about now, where he stands today. He said, "I never wanted to believe she was capable of doing something to Kaylee just because of how great of a mom she seemed. She just didn't seem like someone who would do that. But after all the lies and everything that happened, you have to question whether I really knew her at all. To do something to that innocent little girl, and this was only 3 years ago, this one, for lack of a better word, you'd have to be a fucking monster. I only knew Casey for 5 months, but I just never thought in a million years she'd be capable of doing something like that." So like you were saying, he was young and stuff. He says, "I'm not fully convinced by what he said, but I'm leaning towards the idea that maybe she didn't do it. If
Wow.
she was traumatized and abused growing up, all the lies and going about if everything was
proved.
normal makes sense. I've got to rewatch it again because I was very emotional the first time around. There are parts when I was angry, sad, other parts that made me cry. I didn't know her for long enough to read her properly, but she was convincing in what she was saying." Wow. And he says, or she should be nominated for an acting award, which, hey, really good liars are just like that.
But she isn't a really good liar, Allie. She wasn't. It's just, I feel like someone who isn't experienced with manipulation and liars. You don't, and that's not a bad thing. It just shows that if you haven't experienced it before, you don't really see that someone could even be capable of that. What do you mean? And because I try to think back, hey, if I didn't have experience with that, would I be
That's
naive
true.
too? Sure. Yeah, I'd be naive too because I didn't know that was something people would be capable of.
That's true. And even like Tisha, terrible liar, but maybe not even really good is the wrong word, but like a person who lies often, and then young people, like you said, like like being naive to it.
Yeah.
I don't know, man, but yeah, he says all these years later, he might have even more questions. I'll drop this in the chat there. You guys can read through because I didn't read it all.
Miss Rachel had a baby. Sorry, I saw that little headline at the bottom. Anyone with young kids knows Miss Rachel goes on in your house all day, every day.
So in love, Miss Rachel reveals she secretly welcomed a baby girl and announced a sweet name. It was a secret. So here, let me get you the link. I'll put it in the back.
Open, shut. Open, shut. Yeah. Oh my God, these kids are obsessed with Miss Rachel.
That's funny. Well, here you go. I don't think she was a thing when Bentley was little, or at least a thing that I knew about.
Oh, Allie, it's obsessive. And it's so funny because whenever I scroll on like for YouTubers and stuff who have kids, like the family, it's all Miss Rachel, and I'm like, yep, it's a kid addiction.
Okay, but okay. As far as her being a good liar, think about this. Like, I have someone in my life who lies a lot. They're not good at it, and they get caught, but they tell a lot of lies. But someone who doesn't know them as well would immediately believe them because they don't know. And it's not that they're a good liar. It's just that they don't have experience with this person. And until you do, then you realize that they're lying a lot. Like, could that be part of it?
Yeah, because
Like
I circle back around. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I circle back around to what I said before as far as they put on a really good front, because I also have experience with ridiculous lies, insane, stupid fucking lies that why are you even lying about that? Okay.
Yeah.
Yet when you watch them interact with other people, someone who wouldn't know, wow, the performance and
Right.
being able to put that mask on. So that doesn't surprise me with Casey. And that's why I said it wouldn't surprise me with the interaction you've had with Casey. You see what she puts in front of you, but what the reality is when she goes home or when she's going outside to do those calls on a day-to-day pace could be completely different than the performance she's putting forward.
Yeah. That's so interesting to think about. And, you know, I don't know. I want to know how we got where we are, because the evidence so far, just from the story and what I know from reading, you know, about the evidence that we're going to hear about, it doesn't seem that far off from what we've seen in other cases who didn't go this way. You know, the only difference I've seen so far is a really good attorney, like a paid attorney, not necessarily even good. I don't know if he's good or not yet so far. Like, is he, his opening statement versus theirs? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Just huge difference, visuals and emotion and theatrics. And so, but yeah, how do we get here? I don't know, man.
I don't know. And it's so frustrating that not only she's able to walk free, because I really think, and you know, justice was not served in this situation, but for her to come back and be like, you know what, I'm gonna be an advocate. I'm gonna do this. Like I think that's right up the alley for the personality she has. And I think just the same way if Tisha got out, you know, like, and wasn't found guilty, like she would be doing the same thing. I'm the biggest victim of this situation.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know what word to call it, what it falls under, but it's exactly what I would expect from someone like her.
You see them amazing things like look at Lori. And what we were talking about at the beginning, like that I'm doing it for these all these other women. Like
she's doing their hair. Listen, I understand, you know, like I needed to cut to trial. And so I understand with my lawyers, listen, I am a licensed cosmetologist. Okay. I did hair. And if someone came into me and said, I need to get my hair done by tomorrow, and I knew I couldn't do the job, I wouldn't do it because that's my name on it. Right. So I don't blame these lawyers, but I need to move forward. This is not for Lori. This is not about proving the case. This is having a chance to speak and have herself be heard. And that's why I'm so excited to see certain witnesses get on that stand, because she's composed. I do agree with what you said earlier, Allie. She's composed. I think she's been very respectful. Her voice has been maintained at a consistent level the whole time, but we haven't seen emotional witnesses yet. And so I'm excited.
Yeah. And you can almost feel her getting flustered when they're making her like reword questions. So I wonder how she'll do under the pressure of that with, because she doesn't ever get like super flustered. She does a great job, like remaining composed. But can she do that with Melanie G? And
well, think about Melanie G. Remember the call that was recorded that Melanie G did to Lori and Chad, and she was confronting them about why she lied to the police and said she had JJ, and they became in a war of biblical verses.
Yeah.
Back and forth. Are you calling me what was it? Are you calling me like Aphrodite? I don't remember what, that wasn't the one, you know, like, but she was, and they started laying out Bible verses, and I have a feeling that Melanie that's on the stand, like that's what's gonna be happening, you know, like bam, 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 spitting back and forth. And that's when I was like, how did Lori handle that confrontation, that emotional? And she did, but that there was that tone in there, you know, and she's like, well, I'll pray for your soul if that's how you feel, and I love you. And that's what she always said in an interview. Listen, Jezebel. You think no, it wasn't Jezebel. That's Chris Watts. No.
Korihor.
What was it?
Cora horror or something like
Yeah,
that.
it was like, you think I'm Cora?
Yeah, it was Cora
Yeah.
horror or something. I don't know,
Mhm.
something like that.
It
But
was something.
maybe
But she's
somebody
like,
in the chat will know.
I'm a lover, not a fighter. So this is gonna be a real big challenge for me.
Yeah, Cora horror, Raspar, it's an LDS term. And then Ms. Tasha, thank you so much. And then Tess, where'd it go? Hold on.
I know, Melissa, but I was trying to think of a name that somewhat sounded with the theme I was going with. It's like Aphrodite is not in the Bible.
Tess, thank you for being a member for 29 months. Loving the KC rewatch. You ladies are doing incredible. Can't believe it's been 29 months. Wow, so love you. Love you too. Thank you so much. And yeah, I can't believe it's time flies. And yeah, thank you for being here. And thank you to all the mods for all your help and your help too, Tess. And Melissa, your help. Thank you for your help. And thank you for being here and doing this with me.
I'm excited to listen to tomorrow too.
Man, I've got so many thoughts. Like my head right now is just like ding, 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 ding. All these things that I want to say, and then I'll see a comment and I want to respond, and then I'm like, oh wait, I want something else. So hopefully I can get my thoughts straight by the time we come back. But like with the Casey thing, I end up kind of like this every night, anyways, because at the end you're just like, wow, like, what have I taken in? You got to digest it a little bit, and you're kind of, I don't know. I don't know what we're going to get into like tomorrow with this next guy, but I guess he's the other guy that lived there. And
yeah.
Yeah.
And don't forget, we're going to be moving towards, as we get into the trial, the actual evidence, like what the evidence showed. And I'm really excited. And Dr. G, the medical examiner, this was a massive case for her. And she did a bunch of interviews, and I'm really excited to hear her on the stand again.
Yeah, I cannot believe that, we've got her, we've got Geraldo and the
Geraldo, man.
So was Jose Baez known at all before this? Like,
no, as far as I know.
I'd be like really curious, even if maybe by Floridians, that like if he was small town known then at all, because he certainly is now.
He's a public defender. He, like she said, another inmate in front of her had Jose, and she's like, all right, give me Jose.
Yeah.
And now look.
Yeah. I cannot believe that's how she found out about him.
Mm-hmm.
He did Casey before. Yeah, that's right, Tess. You did say he represented George Zimmerman as well after, but
yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on with me. And yeah, what are your plans for when are we gonna go into the next witness? When do you want to? We go tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow night, yeah.
Okay.
Tomorrow night. It's scheduled for 10. We may go a little earlier, but just depending on when I get home. And it's not going to be long, like we have the other half. And so I'm excited though.
Yeah, probably.
Sorry,
as long as tonight or something,
I wish Lori, like with the time difference, it feels like it's taking up all day, but it feels like also there are a lot of breaks. Maybe not. I don't know. Is there a lunch break like an hour and a half?
I don't know, because I was behind, so like both days, so I kind of skipped a little bit of the lunch.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I was going to tell you before we go, the judge did at one point, I read this on Twitter, say like regarding her back and forth with her and Melanie, like what you like us talking about them going back and forth or whatever, it made me think of this. I meant to say, the judge had to get on to her and said, you do please have your images ready that you want to show tomorrow. Maybe this is what was cut off at the end and it's only on Twitter. I don't know, because I didn't see everything. And then also he was going to speak as the footage cut off today. But he said he was getting on to her about like having too much to say back to the witnesses. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Or
yes.
That kind of
oh, he mentioned that because I noticed she did that. Like, so I didn't know. You don't need to say that when you ask a question. Just ask the question. But again, putting all of my personal emotions to the side, it is very nerve-wracking when you're up there. And she is completely out of her element. She is not familiar in the legal terminology and what to do. And so I think she's doing her best to be respectful, but yes, it's coming out with a bunch of additional banter that doesn't need to happen.
Yeah. So I wonder if this is what it is. If Tess said he yelled at her tonight, there's a long crime clip of it. I'll try to find that.
Yeah.
But yeah, she does do that. So maybe she won't do too much back and forth with Mel, but we'll see. Also, will Melanie P testify? Will Ian testify? Like, I want to hear from them, but anyway. So Melissa, what are you doing after tomorrow? We're doing that tomorrow, but what else do you have this week that you're doing? Do you know anything yet? Or
tomorrow, since I will be home during the day, I'm going to stream Koberger's evidentiary hearing. May have to end early, like I said, because I have plans tomorrow night, but because it's probably going to go into Thursday, but it is a massive hearing for a pretrial. They're going to be doing oral arguments of because at all of this massive dump that we've gotten the last month, it's about motion and limines, what's going to be allowed in and what isn't going to be allowed in. And so the 911 call, the text messages, the AT&T 10 advance, everything, and they're going to make their oral argument. So we're going to be able to hear both the defense and prosecution orally state, hey, this is why I think it should be in, this is why I think it should be out. And so it's going to be a really big deal because I'm very curious what the judge is going to decide upon.
Oh my God. Okay. That's going to be a huge deal. I can't wait to see that. See, I'm so glad I remembered because I want to ask as we leave what's to look ahead. And if I ever have somebody on, but as we're ending these, oh my gosh. And I do not want to miss that. What time does it start?
12 Eastern.
Okay.
So again, they're in Idaho time, so they're back.
Oh, I can't wait to hear them talk about all of this because it's stuff we wanted to know for a long time. And even having heard the 911 call now, seeing the text, hearing their arguments orally like that is going to be so different. And I think we'll probably learn some stuff.
I'm super excited just to be able to listen in real time because I haven't been able to stream any of them. I'm not usually home, so just even be able to stream at least some of it. I'm so excited.
Well, yay, I'm excited too. Well, I'll be there. Here, I'm going to drop the link, you guys. Make sure is it up yet? So
it's up.
Okay, so you can turn on your notifications. And Melissa, thank you so much for coming on. Tess, I saw that you dropped the link. I started so I can watch it. She dropped the clip of her getting yelled at, so I'll share that with you too. And then, thank you so much for being here. And I'm glad. I love doing this. I'm glad we're doing it. I can't wait to see what we learn.
Me too. So I look forward to tomorrow night. Thank you.
Thank you. And sorry I was cutting out and all that stuff.
Oh, you're fine. It wasn't that bad. Honestly, it kind of just rolled with it. She turned blue and it was funny.
All right. Well, thank you for everything. And thank you, chat. And you guys have a great night. And I'll see you soon.
Good night.
Bye.